Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome to the Karey Carbaugh podcast, episode number 54. Buenas noches, damas y caballeros, chicos y chicas, niños de todas edades, y bienvenidos a el Karey Carbaugh podcast, episodio número 54. Welcome, bienvenidos, and Happy New Year, Feliz Año Nuevo. Welcome, everyone. My name is Karey Carbaugh, and this is the Karey Carbaugh Podcast. Can you believe we are at the end of 2025? By the time we wake up tomorrow morning, perhaps some of you are already in the new year, it will be 2026. And that's why I thought this was a very timely episode. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about New Year's resolutions. We've talked about some of this before, but I think it's important for us to revisit New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year. And I'm going to go through some statistics tonight. I'm going to actually be looking at my phone a fair bit tonight. So for those who are not aware or don't know me, I am a person with low vision, and so I will be looking at my phone rather closely. So if I'm looking at the phone and not looking directly at the camera, you'll understand why. But first, let's talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. What is a New Year's resolution? Many people, in fact, about 40 to 50% of Americans set New Year's resolutions. It's New Year's Day, it's a new year, it's a new you. And so perhaps now is a good time to set those New Year's resolutions. However, let's take a look at the statistics on success rates. And before we do that, I often forget to do this, but if you're watching this live, drop me an L or the word live in the comments below. If you're watching it on the replay, drop an R or the word replay, just to let me know when you're watching this. And if you would, let me know where you're watching it from. It's always interesting to me to see where this podcast is reaching. We have people watching this from all over the world, almost literally. So if you would, let me know where you're catching this from. And if you like what you are hearing, smash that like button, like if you do. And let me know if you're getting value as we go through this. So let's jump in here. As I mentioned, about 40 to 50% of Americans make New Year's resolutions. Those statistics vary. I found a number of different studies, and some suggest more, some suggest less, but it seems to be relatively consistent that it's about 40 to 50% who make resolutions at the new year. Of those 40 to 50%, and again, all of these statistics will vary somewhat depending on where you get the numbers, but about 75% of those who make resolutions keep them for at least a week. And then it drops off to about 71% who keep them through the second week. So you see, within the first 2 weeks of January, although the numbers are still pretty good, 71% or so still keep their New Year's resolutions, about 30% of those who made the resolution, so almost a third, have already given up after the first 2 weeks. As we look out a little bit further, we see that some studies show that at least 40% will abandon their resolutions within the first month. So it drops from 70%, 71% to about 60% that are still keeping them for 1 month. And then we go out even further and we see that up to 88% of those who make New Year's resolutions fail to keep those resolutions for 1 year. Many of those much shorter than 1 year. After you get out beyond a month or two, the statistics get pretty difficult to find, or they vary quite widely because the numbers just skew all over the place after a couple of months. But up to 88% of people who make New Year's resolutions fail to keep them for 1 year. So why is that? I'd like to suggest a couple of reasons. One study that I found suggested that New Year's resolutions don't work, perhaps because they are externally motivated and are not really something that you want. They're motivated by an external date. It's a new year. Let's reset the clock and let's decide we're going to lose 50 pounds. But without making that shift internally and making the decision to lose that weight, the resolution will likely not be successful. I believe this is why 88% of people who make resolutions fail to keep them throughout the year. A better approach might be to set goals. Rather than a New Year's resolution, we're going to just change everything overnight. We're going to start going to the gym. We're going to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds. What if we took a slightly different approach and called it a New Year's goal and set milestones? Maybe we have a 30-day goal, maybe a 1-week goal. Perhaps that goal is simply to go to the gym every day for a week, or to organize ourselves and to accomplish organizational goals for 1 week. Then that week can turn into 2 weeks and 1 month. And before we know it, if we've set these shorter term goals, which are more internally motivated, goals that aim at something that you yourself really want, something you want to change, and something that is obtainable, reachable, and measurable for 1 week. Then it turns into 1 month, a 30-day goal, which can then roll into a 60-day goal or a 90-day goal. And if we set these goals, I've heard of people doing 30-day challenges, which perhaps stretch yourself just a little bit beyond your comfort zone for 30 days. This way, it's a reset. It is short-term, relatively, and if you fail, it's not like a New Year's resolution that you can only make once a year. Nobody really makes New Year's resolutions on February 15th or March 12th. New Year's resolutions are typically made on December 31st or January 1st. But goals, on the other hand, can be set anytime. You could set a new month goal. Perhaps for you, having that beginning point being the start of a year, the start of a month, or the start of a week. Perhaps for you, that makes more sense. Perhaps it makes it easier for you to measure it because you're starting on the first day of the month or the first day of the week. But New Year's resolutions, or rather resolutions, can be made anytime. Goals can be set anytime. They don't have to be on New Year's Day, unless that makes sense to you. And so if you're looking at New Year's resolutions, perhaps setting those goals on the first day makes more sense. But I would like to encourage you, rather than just setting a simple New Year's resolution goal of going to the gym every day, or working out every day, or eating healthy foods every day. What if you took that goal and broke it down and ate healthy for one day? If you're really off course, and then one day becomes 2 days. Perhaps your goal is to work out every day for a week. But I would encourage you to set goals that have milestones and to reward yourself at the end of those milestones. If your goal is to eat healthy for 1 week, and you do that for 1 week, reward yourself. That doesn't mean go out and eat a horrible meal or a series of horrible meals for a whole day, but perhaps you can reward yourself with that sweet, that dessert one time, that bowl of ice cream, whatever. Give yourself a treat and then set the next goal in the next series of milestones. The other thing that I find helpful in setting goals is to have an accountability partner, whether that's one person or whether that's a group of people. Have someone that can hold you accountable to your goals. It's much easier, at least for me, to achieve those goals and to stay on course if I have someone helping to keep me accountable, someone external to myself. Some people are very motivated and very disciplined and can do it themselves, but I would suggest that the majority of us find it much easier and much more attainable to have that accountability partner that helps keep us on course. So whatever your plans are in the new year, whether you are setting resolutions or extending old resolutions perhaps, whatever that goal is, make it obtainable, make it attainable, make it measurable, and make it something that you yourself desire, not motivated by someone else's desires for you, but something that you yourself desire and can move forward toward the goal. I hope you've gotten value from this. If you have, drop the word value or a V in the comments. If you can relate to this, drop the word relate in the comments. Perhaps you've made goals that you failed with, and perhaps some of this points out reasons why you may have failed in the past. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It just simply means you did not manage to achieve that goal. But you can always reset and start over. You don't have to wait for the next new year to get a do-over. Set your goal, stay the course, and if you miss the mark, reset and try again. And you can do that as many times as you need to until finally one day you reach that goal, whether it's a weight goal, whether it's a health goal, whether it's a relationship goal. If you set the goal, have obtainable, reachable, measurable milestones, you can achieve your goals. So with that, I wish you a very happy new year. It doesn't look like we have too many people watching, so I think many of you may be out celebrating. and hopefully we'll catch this on the replay. But Happy New Year. The next time I see you, it will be, or the next time you see me, rather, it will be 2026. So enjoy the rest of the holidays, spend time with loved ones, family, and friends, and be thoughtful about those goals that you're setting for yourself, whether New Year's resolutions or simply reset goals, whenever you choose to set those. With that, I will bid you fond farewell. If you would like to be added to my email list, drop me the word email in the comments and I will reach out to you and get your email address personally, privately, so that I can add you to some upcoming events that I'm working on in the new year. Alrighty, I hope you've gotten value from this and have a blessed evening. Make it a blessed week for those you come in contact with, and do something positive for those around you. Until next time, this has been the Karey Carbaugh Podcast, and my name is Karey Carbaugh. Goodbye for now.